Star Trek Prodigy, Season 1, Episode 3 review.
I want to slap him.
Dal.
He's like the worst captain ever.
He is. Well, he's a kid. They're all kids. And I mean, I know it's been a long time, but don't you remember being on a playground and there's always the one who's like, I want to be in charge. And the others are like, really, you? But none of them want to be in charge. So they're like, fine. God, you suck. And that's basically what it is at this point. Like, he wants to be in charge, and nobody else like wanted to be. So they're like, fine, whatever.
Yeah, it's I think that's the thing with, if you write an interesting character to start with, you need to start with a character that has places to go.
Exactly.
Because, like, yeah, he's annoying, and he's very high on himself, but that's something that can be grown and matured over the series. They could put him through situations to grow that part of his personality, to mature him in certain ways, and that gives him a hurdle to jump over. And so he has to start out a little flawed. Otherwise, if he's good with everything, then he's just a Mary Sue.
Well, I don't expect him to be good. Just maybe listen to the thing that's trying to save you from going to a black hole.
Yeah. Well, that's, yeah. It's more the personality things that, he's got some talent. He's got a little bit of Mariner in him.
Yeah.
He's got a little bit of Mariner in him, which is not bad if it's tempered with a bit of humility and knowing when to stop. If he figures that side out, and it's like he's got some good qualities, but he's very raw, very very young, very raw, and doesn't have all the experiences that are going to make him more reasonable.
But he's also stubborn, and which can be a strength.
Well, there's a fine line between.
He has tenacity.
Yeah, there's a fine line
he
between.
Learns
There's a fine line between stubborn and determined, and finding that line is like he's got the willpower, and the determination, but he just has to figure out where that line is.
Exactly.
And that's the maturation process, is finding where those lines are. And
it gives him grow.
Yeah, it's someplace for them to grow. Each, everybody is he's got the most places to grow, but he's also the lead character. Like, the rest of them don't have. Well, they each have interesting characteristics that will grow and mature as this show goes on, probably. The scene what was really cool was the scene with the shuttle replicator.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
That was a neat fight. Just like,
I love how she's so like big and imposing, but she's so like, because she's so young and fragile.
she's very timid, and so she's that's that lower self-esteem, lower that more timid nature, combined with her size, it just it's and that's probably the point of the design is to juxtapose her massive size. I'm going to beat you up with her sort of. She's
Please don't do that.
yeah, she's very very that juxtaposition is a thing. Um, let's see. I'm curious because we got a few more things about the ship that were sort of hinted at. Like, Janeway said, like, I've seen my share of wayward crews. Like, okay, so the Protostar wasn't lost on launch. It was lost later on. Which makes me wonder, also, did the Janeway AI get a little too close to Janeway and decided it got tired of training cadet crews and decided to go adventuring? And it's basically become kind of like the TARDIS. It goes where it wants, and it waits till it finds a crew it likes, and then just, all right, we're going on an adventure, and I'm going to pretend like I don't notice that you shouldn't be here, because I want to go on an adventure.
Or, it's kind of that she has the Janeway personality of, how often did Janeway pick up strays? Like, half of her crew were strays. Literally.
Yeah. To an
Loves
extent. Yeah. Yeah. It's some of that, and like, I just want to go adventuring on my own. And just like left. Like they gave the Janeway hologram too much override potential, and it just sort of decided to take off on its own.
I can see that. That's a very Janeway thing to do.
We got a little too close to the actual Janeway. And but yeah, we didn't.
And then I would love to hear the programmer conversation there. It's like, the Janeway holomatrix is acting up again. No, it's not acting up again. It's just the AI is becoming too sentient again.
Let's sit it down before it tries to take over.
It says something about the AI won't stop going on about nebulas and coffee. It doesn't even need to drink. Why would it care about?
Well, you notice she still has her coffee in her hand.
Yeah. It's like, you're an AI. You're a hologram. You don't need to drink. Why do you drink? It's like, no, that's an affectation. They brought that over straight from Janeway. It's like
Janeway refuses to allow her image on anything that doesn't involve coffee.
It doesn't allow her hollow copy to to drink coffee.
If it's going to be a Janeway, it's going to drink coffee.
Yeah, even if that's holographic, it's going to be holographic coffee. And yeah, I just and
But
it's and she makes it known that she knows that the Tellarite is the Tellarite, but like we still, I don't know that we know where, like, probably not the Alpha or Beta Quadrant, given that they're like, we're here. Yeah, sorry. Unless I misunderstood the map, but
because it's like, oh, they're all the way over here in the Alpha and Beta Quadrant. So, and I love Dell's characterization. He is really well written. He has that personality of the runaway kid who's like afraid to get caught because he knows he'll just end up in trouble like always.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's got
And like he's just like, I don't want to go back to the Federation. I don't want them to find me because then they're going to stop me from being free because we stole the ship. They're going to take it back. They're going to try to rule us. He has that Peter Pan syndrome, that I want to be on my own.
Yeah, well,
exactly.
Well, he's still a kid, so he's kind of, it's not, if he keeps doing that as an adult, then that becomes a problem. But like he's still a kid, so it's that sort of rebellious. Well,
it's understandable.
It's understandable at his age, and with the sort of pressure he's been under for as long as he's been there. We don't know how long he's been there, but he's been there long enough to feel the pressure of being under that one's rule. And so, like, having his first taste of actual freedom. And it also, it makes me wonder with the Janeway hologram. Okay, so she showed them the Federation, and then showed the red dot over here. The Janeway hologram wanted to go to that red dot.
She just wanted to go exploring. You know it. I know it. We all know it. She just wanted to go exploring and use them as an excuse.
Yeah, but they should have learned
this. If I show them this, they're going to want it.
They should have learned lesson 1 about space travel. Never go towards the red dot.
Well,
I thought it was
never
red button.
Yeah, it's like she probably sized him up in a minute and said, "Okay, if I want to go do this, if I want to go do this, all I have to do is I have this itch to explore, which that's a very Janeway trait. It's like all I have to do is tell him, oh no, don't go there, not to the elephant graveyard."
Yeah. And you saw that little gleam in her eye when she said it. She's just like, no, don't go there. You don't want to go there. Yes, I do. Take us there. But no, take us there. Hey, Captain. Like,
if you say so. Are you sure you want to?
Yes, we do. Take us there.
Okay. Behold the land of buff naked dudes. Never mind.
What?
No, it turns out that's what the place is. The land of buff naked dudes.
Ew. Like,
exactly.
Ew.
Exactly.
Okay.
I don't think even they would want that.
Hey, space is very big. There's something for everybody.
What she said.
Anyway, yeah. And they get introduced to a replicator, which seems like
she replicates. And the first thing she replicates is the gruel they eat every day. It's like, come on, you don't want to eat. This is all I've ever eaten, which is really sad because that means she's been enslaved since she was a baby.
Probably born into it, or maybe. Well, they seemed like he was collecting orphans to work this place because nobody would miss them, and so like very much could have been picked up as a baby.
Twist.
Yeah,
it's very Oliver. The whole setup.
Yeah, nobody will miss them. They're orphans. They're the abandoned. And I'm being magnanimous in
The
accepting them.
unwanted.
The unwanted, that's what he called them, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm being magnanimous by, taking in these unwanted and giving them purpose. Food and water and purpose. Yeah.
And all they have to do is spend their entire life slaving away for me. I think that's a win-win.
Hey, I mean, yeah. I don't see why not.
This is why child labor laws exist.
Pesky child labor laws.
You know, I don't get child labor laws. I mean, children shouldn't be getting pregnant anyways. Why would they be going into labor?
Anyway, let's see, what else was there? We finally kind of see the consequences of diverting power from other systems. It's like,
Yeah.
he just like, divert power from all systems to this. Okay. Brr. Wait, why are the shields down? You said divert power. Okay.
Okay, honestly, I'm surprised it didn't go like this. Why can't we breathe anymore? You said divert all power.
Yeah, but the thing with that is it's a really big ship and there is a lot of oxygen still in there, a lot of air still in there. So even if they cut off life support for like an hour, with how small the crew is, they'd be able to last on what little air they have in there with them.
True, but the artificial gravity should have turned off right away, though.
Yeah, but the artificial gravity is an actively working system. Think about if you were locked in a vault. It's a smaller room, but you were locked in a vault, hermetically sealed. You can still breathe for like an hour before the air runs out. Now imagine you're on a huge hermetically sealed vault that is 20 decks high. All of that air is still breathable until you use it up. So even with life support systems failing or turned off for any length of time, you can still breathe until you use up all that air.
Science.
Well, and
yes.
I don't think the Medusa even uses air.
Yeah, the Medusan doesn't even breathe.
Or doesn't seem to. Well, they could, I don't know. They seem to be in a box themselves, so who knows.
Yeah, Zero doesn't breathe, and they're just kids. They're not going to be using up an entire ship's worth of oxygen in a few hours. Well, Dal might, because he talks a lot, but
yeah. Well, the thing is with that ship is they could actually, since probably a few of those decks are mostly quarters, like if they all bunk in the same area, like you could actually shut down environmental systems on a few decks and they wouldn't even notice. Which also, given that they're all,
I mean, they have that bunk room.
Yeah, they have the bunk room, but it's actually probably the lower decks, the ones that aren't.
they showed the lower decks in here.
Yeah, which is interesting in that it is really close. The lower decks is really close to the captain's quarters, which, it would seem like they could each, like I get it for the bunk room for camaraderie and kind of to not be quite so lonely on such a big ship, but given that officers tend to have their own quarters, like there's probably enough quarters for each of them to have their own sort of officers' quarters.
Yeah.
If they wanted it. Now, it seems like, this room's too big and empty for me, and this is a big empty ship, so it's kind of.
Yeah, but he was talking shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, but if they all wanted to just be in the bunk, that's fine. But they could each also have a full officer's quarters.
It could have just been that was the first room they came across.
Yeah.
They didn't come across the officers' quarters yet. So
Yeah. That whole area
Oh,
has been
wait until they
had
see
just put her, because they had just put her in the brig, so that's nearby, which makes sense considering how often Mariner goes from the lower decks to the brig anyway.
Wait until they get introduced to the holodeck.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
It is spoilers, sweetie.
Oh god.
Which also brings up the interesting thing of, like, some of them, they'll, like the species, like, Janeway immediately knew the Tellarite was a Tellarite. Like, it wasn't that shocking. Like, he looks like a Tellarite. But, like, be interesting if, like, they find some tricorders and, oh, wait, it says here you're a blank, whatever the name of that species is. And, like, they might they know what all the species of everybody is. Like, they already kind of knew with the Tellarite and Medusan what they are. They already know. Slime
But
Dog, we
Dal,
don't really know. Dal doesn't know. We don't know
when
exactly.
Gwen, yeah, Gwen, we don't know.
And we don't know Rock
At least
Talk,
up to this point.
I think is what her name was. Yeah, we don't know
Rock
what
Talk.
she
I like
is.
that name. She has such a fun name, Rock Talk.
Rock talk.
But
God.
yeah, we don't know what her species is either, so, like, some of it may be known. It may be known to Starfleet, and, like, there's a Tellarite aboard. Some of these may be Alpha Quadrant species, and but you could oh, Rock Talk, you're a blank. Gwen, you're a blank. Dal, it doesn't know what you are. You could still have the mystery. The Federation just hasn't encountered your species yet and hasn't added it to the species list yet. So we don't.
It hasn't added your uniqueness to the collective yet.
Yeah.
Like we are the Borg.
Yeah, it would be a
We
great way of.
We are the Borg.
Be a great way of introducing what Gwen's species is, and Rock Talks as a sort of side thing, and so show what theirs are, because Rock Talk is a curiosity. Gwen is an even more curiosity, since we've only seen 2 of her species, and it's probably going to be important to the plot with all the way they were talking in the first couple episodes. Their species is going to be probably pretty important to the plot of this show eventually.
Yeah.
So they could give that tidbit, and then we don't know what's going on with you. We don't know what you are.
Wow, way to call me out. Oh, you meant Dal. Okay.
Yeah. But I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. This is 30 minutes, so it's not going to take quite as long. And we're still kind of in the hectic early days, so.
Yeah, where they're still figuring out their place and getting the hang of being a team.
Yep.
And at least I know when to ask for help. You're welcome. I am a good captain. Yeah, he has that childish narcissism that kids like that have.
But
That as a kid, it's, understandable. Can even be cute, that confidence. But then, or as cute as a kid could be, because kids are hideous. But then, if he doesn't grow out of it, then it's just an annoying, I want to stab you in the face with a soldering iron. Over and over again.
But unfortunately, that's considered illegal.
Yeah.
it's frowned upon in most societies.
Yeah. Most.
Unfortunately, most civilized societies.
Yeah, but if they don't find the body, who's to know?
Okay. Do we have anything more on
I'll just
Prodigy?
keep it in the freezer next to the foot.
Let me think. Their pet helped a lot by eating that chair.
He's so cute.
Pretty good mascot character.
Yes. He's adorable.
Like, are you gonna save us today? And he's eating the chair.
Murph, what? Murph, you can get us out of this by eating the chair.
It'd be funny would be in the last episode. He's actually super intelligent. He's just very weird. And like they finally get the universal translator couldn't lock on to what he was what he was trying to communicate for a long time, and then it finally get like an update when they get back. Eventually they're going to end up in the Federation, I would imagine. And they finally get an update to the universal translator, and he starts talking, and he's just a massive super intelligent being, and it's like, so you can finally understand what I'm saying.
Thank God.
You know how long I've been trying to communicate with you? No, he's just a dog. He doesn't know what he's doing. It's like,
Oh, they don't treat him like a dog, though.
well,
They treat him as a member of their crew. Like, they treat him as an equal. You know? Like,
well, at any rate, he doesn't talk. He can't say anything. It's like, no, actually super intelligent. Well, it's one of the most intelligent species in the galaxy. How did you find him? Like, it's like,
and
oh,
he's super rare. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, we just, hooked up to escape imprisonment by her daddy.
yeah. And
Who's
it's
a
like,
total jerk.
yeah. It just turns out, he's been super intelligent the entire time, and he can't communicate, so nobody understands.
And it turns out
I get that feeling.
he is the true evil mastermind.
Yes, he came on board just to, he's secretly loyal to her dad, and is like, I will sabotage them in just the right ways so that he'll be able to find us.
Yes.
You betrayed us?
Plan.
I never expected. He just, at some point...
Nobody ever suspects the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah, or or he doesn't talk the entire time, and then at the end, like when he betrays them, he's like, "You never suspected, did you? You can talk."
I mean, they do treat him like an equal, not like a pet. Like, especially Rock Talk, she treats him like her buddy.
Anyway,
they all treat him like one of their own, not like some sort of pet or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, not a lot to say here. I think. Anything else?
I got nothing.
No.
All right.
Not offhand.